Mælken. Det var mælken, du skulle hente, Mads.
Kender du det? Du er blevet en zombie, der ikke kan huske de mindste ting. Kan det have noget at gøre med tiden, du bruger foran en skærm? Vil du gerne blive bedre til at huske og lære, så skal du kigge med her. Velkommen til videoserien Hjernen i balance. Den her videoserie er lavet med støtte fra Lundbæk-fonden. Mit navn er Maria, og i den her serie har jeg allieret mig med neuroforsker Macarena. Vi skal teste påstandene og finde ud af, hvorfor vores digitale vaner kan være skadelige for hjernen.
We know that too much screen time affects our brains negatively. But how much and what kind of screen time is actually dangerous? And how can we change our digital habits?
Vi vil i hvert afsnit komme med videnskabeligt baseret forslag til, hvordan du kan ændre dine digitale vaner og beskytte dit mentale helbred.
We are going to make 5 episodes in this ongoing series, and we are very excited to see what we will discover. And we invite you to participate.
Så har du et spørgsmål til os, eller vil du dele din mening, så skriv endelig til os i kommentarfeltet. Lad os undersøge det sammen.
In this second episode, we will try to answer the question, how does too much screen time affect our ability to learn and our memory?
Macarena, as a neuroscientist, can you explain how our brain works with learning and memory?
When we talk about learning, we often think it's about being smart or trying harder. But in the brain, learning is a system. Learning happens when the brain builds and strengthens connections between neurons. For these connections to form, the brain needs focused attention. If attention keeps shifting because of notifications, multitasking, or switching between apps, the brain can't build strong memories. The brain is plastic. So, if learning mostly happens in short, interrupted bursts, the brain adapts to that. But the good news is, with the right conditions, focus, learning and memory can be rebuilt.
Så det Macarena fortæller er, at læring kræver uforstyrret fokus for at bygge stærke nerveforbindelser i hjernen. Da hjernen er plastisk, kan din koncentrationsevne genopbygges ved at minimere forstyrrelser og ændre dine digitale vaner.
To get a better and deeper explanation, we talk with an expert neuroscientist in this field.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Andrea Moreno, and I'm an associate professor at the Department of Biomedicine here in Aarhus University.
These new studies that are coming out now, where they are talking about how younger generations may have lower IQs or intelligence compared to the older generations, and what do you feel about?
I don't want to position myself too strongly in this because we don't have enough accumulated evidence that this is due to a real reduction in the IQ of younger generations, or the way we test IQ, or something else that could be something related to an effect we call cognitive offloading, which is to just rely on external devices to perform some tasks. And this could change the way that IQ is reflected in IQ tests, without it necessarily meaning that people are becoming more stupid.
When we talk about learning something, what is actually happening in the brain?
Plenty of stuff happens in the brain when we learn. There are different stages to learning. So first of all, you need to pay attention to something, right? Inputs from all over different sensory systems and the world around you come inside the brain, so to say, or we perceive the external world, and we need some kind of attention and a working memory that is able to compute these inputs coming in the brain. Then we need an internal processing of how these things in the world are related to us and how they interact with each other, so that we can establish associations among them. But we also need energy in order to process this information. After that, we need a consolidation phase where this initial processing is kind of scaffolded in so it can stay for a longer time, and that is what we would call long-term memory or memory permanence, right? Or when we learn something that we remember for a very long time. After this, we may or may not have some periods of recall when we remember this information, but this is not a condition to have the memory in ourselves.
So we could say we go from learning, and then some of this information will be consolidated, yes, and then we will create a memory.
Yes, so a memory trace, which is how we refer to this representation of new information, or representation of what we call a memory in the brain. This is formed by changing the connectivity between the neurons, which are the cells in the brain. So neurons are heavily connected to each other, and these connections can strengthen when we learn something, or weaken possibly when we forget something. although this is still a matter of debate, and this is the core of my own research.
How does constant distractions affect the way that we can learn new things?
When we learn, we have to understand that through evolution, the brain has evolved to be a very, very energy efficient machine. So it's the most expensive thing we have in the body. The brain is 2% more or less of our body mass, but it consumes 20% of more of the energy we consume. This is a very expensive machine. And metabolically, the brain is always wanting to reduce the cost. And attention is a big energy sink. It takes a lot of brain power to put our attention into something. So when we are dividing our attention, this metabolically, this is very costly. And what is going to happen is that we are going to have a negative impact on our performance. It's not only that we're going to learn slower, it's that we're going to learn worse.
So with the short form video and long form videos, are there any difference in the brain when we watch one of those?
So of course the mechanisms for attention engagement, if one is sitting down and paying full attention to a 15-minute video, this is going to be much better in that case for sustained attention and memory formation than just the 1 minute activity. I believe perhaps short form is introducing a bit more of an external structure into the processing that we're doing of this video, because we don't have time to process what's happening. It's so fast, it's so perhaps colorful, impactful images, right? Phrases that all of them catch your attention and then leave you, then the next video comes immediately after. So you really don't have any time to think about what you just heard. You just take it in. So there is also much less reasoning involved. In a bit of a longer video or explanation, at least you have time to think during those 15 minutes about the thing that is being talked about. And there is a bit more higher order processing involved in that information acquisition process.
Regarding the reward system and the dopamine, is there also issues with having so many easy inputs that then we are not motivated to learn what is actually important and complicated?
Yes, this is absolutely on point. So we have, for motivation for just living, we are motivated to pursue different things that make us feel good, right? With social media and with screens in this case, especially handheld screens that are close to us, an iPad, a phone, a laptop. These inputs are very easy, or there's very little cost for the brain to obtain a reward from these inputs. We could say we get used to not doing the work for getting a reward. And then we are gonna raise our resistance to doing focused work and engaged tasks for a very long time, because we have kind of trained our brain to receive a reward very quickly, and therefore it will be more and more difficult over time to engage in a highly focused task. So we are kind of, because the brain is highly plastic and malleable, we are kind of switching into this mode of processing of information, which is based on a very shallow processing, and that can be very damaging for deep learning and concentration, for example. So it can be very costly.
Is there a way where screen time could be positive rather than just negative?
Yes, of course. I believe so. As everything, it's a conversation between what is the thing that we are doing with the screen. It's not the same to watch a movie with a kid, what the parents are also watching, and it becomes a family activity, right? And they can comment on what's happening on the movie, and they can use it as kind of a crutch for learning something new or for interaction among themselves. That is completely different to having your phone in bed at night and just doom scroll on TikTok. So of course there are many positive things we can get from the use of screens. They are, for example, very useful for connecting people together. So all of these community creating kind of technologies can be positive.
Regarding video games,
yes,
can they be good for our brain, and in particular for how we learn and how we do problem solving, for example?
It depends on which kind of cognitive ability we want to improve here. So video games can be very good for example, reflexes and being fast and at certain types of problem solving. But the counterbalancing point is that it can become very easily addictive, or it can become very easily the only thing that we do or the only thing that we are good at.
That's true. I'm a gamer, and I can totally relate to that, where you have to run some dungeons to get a rare loot. You don't get it every time. You have to run it like some amount of time before you can get that loot.
Yeah.
So wow, that's now I can see the mechanism behind that.
Yeah, so these are brain mechanisms that, of course, it's helping us as an organism, as a species, to survive in nature, right? When nature is very predictable, it's very easy for us to react to a change because I already know what's going to happen. When it is unpredictable, it's very difficult for us to compute what to do next because we don't know what's going to happen. And that, again, is very metabolically costly, and the brain tries to avoid that. So if we give it an easy solution, it's going to take that.
Would that not make us like smarter in the future? Because I mean, now we work with predictability, but then our brain is really like on the comfort zone. If we push it to have to be better at predicting, or either not be based on predictions, maybe new connections or new mechanisms.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk about evolution. We can talk about adaptation. We have adapted to very many different environments, right? And now we are adapting to a new way of understanding the world and a new way of dealing with social interactions. But at the same time, if we exploit this shallow cognitive processing, we are also losing one thing that makes the human brain special or a little bit different to other animal brains, which is the ability of abstract thought. And this is a very dangerous thing to just let go of, I believe, because we are not going to be able to compete with machines, with AI, in terms of fast cognitive surface processing. But we may still use our deep focus and deep learning abilities to come up with new inventions and new ideas. But for that, we need to train them as well.
Så det vi kan opsummere er, at læring er en biologisk proces, der kræver både energi og fokuseret opmærksomhed for at skabe nye forbindelser i hjernen. Hjernen forsøger altid at spare på energien, og derfor er konstante digitale distraktioner ekstremt omkostningstunge for din indlæring. Hvis din opmærksomhed konstant skifter på grund af notifikationer eller multitasking, kan hjernen ikke opbygge stærke minder. Multitasking er en myte. Når du skifter opmærksomhed mellem en video og din lektier, falder din præstationsevne drastisk, og du lærer både langsommere og dårligere. Samtidig træner sociale medier din hjerne til overfladisk bearbejdning gennem hurtige dopaminbelønninger, hvilket på sigt ødelægger din evne til dyb koncentration. Især kortformvideoer er problematiske, da tempoet er så højt, at hjernen slet ikke får tid til at tænke eller resonere over det indhold, den modtager. Endelig er søvnen helt afgørende for hukommelsen, da det er her, dagens nye forbindelser bliver cementeret og permanent lagret. Hvis du bruger skærmen i sengen, forstyrrer du denne livsvigtige konsolideringsproces og risikerer bogstaveligt talt at glemme det, du har brugt dagen på at lære.
So what can we do to protect our mental health and our ability to learn and remember? Here are some good hacks.
Undgå både lyd og notifikationer, så du selv skal gå ind i appen for at tjekke, om der er kommet noget nyt. Dermed får du mere kontrol over dit forbrug, og mobilen får mindre kontrol over din opmærksomhed. Mange tjekker sociale medier rigtig mange gange om dagen. Et stærkt hack er at erstatte de mange små tjek med 2-3 planlagt intentionelle tjek om dagen for at reprogrammere hjernens autopilot. Læg telefonen helt væk i et andet rum i 45-60 minutter, når du skal lære noget, da selv en notifikation på bordet dræner din opmærksomhed. Sæt en grænse for, hvor lang tid du vil være på skærmen, og slå en påmindelse om at stoppe til. Men det er meget vigtigt, at du tager den påmindelse alvorligt, og du ikke bare ignorerer den. Da det kan være fysisk umuligt for især en umoden hjerne at modstå algoritmerne, er det en god idé at lade en ven eller forældre indstille koden til app-begrænsninger. Vær aktiv, ikke passiv, hvis du gerne vil lære effektivt. Passiv repetition, for eksempel at læse noter igen og igen, virker dårligt, og det er langt mere effektivt at forklare stoffet for en ven, sin mor eller sin hund. Det er videnskabeligt bevis, at man husker bedre, hvis man læser lidt hver dag i en måned, i stedet for at læse hele bogen dagen før eksamen. eksamen. Vi håber med den her serie, at vi kan åbne jeres øjne for, hvor fantastisk neuroforskning er, når vi gerne vil forstå sammenhængen mellem vores digitale vaner og vores mentale helbred.
Let us know in the comments if you found any of this information helpful. In the next episode, we are going to dive into screen time's effects on our ability to socialize. We will also love to hear your thoughts.
Har du oplevet udfordringer, som eventuelt skyldes for meget scrolling, gaming eller anden skærmtid? Hvad kunne du godt tænke dig, at vi spurgte eksperterne om? Fortæl os om det i kommentarfeltet, og kig med i de kommende episoder. Hvis du vil have flere hacks, så beskyt din hjerne.
See you in the next episode.